Good morning, everybody. Well, this Friday, the new Star Trek movie comes out. I don't mind telling you, I'm pretty excited about it. The only thing that has me just a little bit bummed about Star Trek Into Darkness is that while Benedict Cumberbatch has a very prominent role in the movie as the villain, his Sherlock co-star, Martin Freeman, seems to have totally missed out. Now, I realize maybe it would have been tricky for the scheduling to work out because I think Martin was shooting The Hobbit. But doesn't Benedict Cumberbatch do the voice of a dragon or some shit in those Hobbit movies? I mean, why couldn't Martin Freeman have done something similar in Star Trek, like a vocal cameo? Imagine this, okay? Just picture this. Some perky miniskirt wearing yeoman walks up to Captain Kirk on the bridge of the Enterprise and she's all like, "Oh, Captain Kirk, we're all out of paper." And Kirk says, "Relax, babe, I'll take care of this." And he punches a button on his captain's chair, placing a call to Starfleet's paper supplier. I think you see where I'm going with this. And the call is answered by Martin Freeman, reprising his role as Tim from The Office. How great would that be? Pretty good, right? See, I should write this shit. The following comments are taken from editions of Mail Call, printed in the Herald Mail from April 29th to May 10th, 2013, which can be read online in their entirety at www.herald-mail.com. First up from Sharpsburg. Yes, Abe Lincoln has become popular with movie makers. Lincoln was a Republican against slavery. Southern Democrats wanted slavery. Civil Rights Bill of 1964 wouldn't have passed had it not been for Republicans. Lester Maddox, Democrat Georgia, didn't want blacks to vote. George Wallace, Democrat Alabama, tried to forbid black children from attending white schools. Eisenhower, Nixon, Republicans, passed civil rights laws. Well, you're right about Lincoln. He sure has become popular with filmmakers these last 100 years. As for the rest of what you say, yes, it's true that Lincoln and other Republicans have, historically, been responsible for some incredibly significant progress when it comes to civil rights. And yes, there have been Democrats who have stood in the way of that progress. But Democrat Harry Truman desegregated the U.S. military. Democrat John Kennedy ended racial discrimination in federally subsidized housing. And that Civil Rights Act of 1964 you mentioned? Yeah, that wouldn't even exist if not for Democrats, particularly John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson. And if you look at the vote totals for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, you might notice that the most obvious division isn't between Republicans and Democrats, but between Northerners and Southerners. Representatives and senators from the northern states overwhelmingly supported the Civil Rights Act of 1964, while representatives and senators from the southern states almost unanimously opposed it. And I say almost unanimously because there was a handful of southern senators and representatives who voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, all of whom were Democrats. I too loaned money to a relative to help them catch up on late bills. Time went on, they'd go here, go there, eat out, buy stuff, and no money came back to me. So I mentioned it one day, and boy did they become defensive. Wait a minute, this is my money, you owe me. They paid me back, grudgingly. A valuable lesson to learn. The bank is closed. Greencastle, Pennsylvania. I have cunningly solved this problem by rarely having enough money to lend. Actually, I do have a slightly more serious, better suggestion as far as this goes. On occasion, I've given money to friends who have asked me for help, and it's never ever been a problem because I give money to people. I don't lend money to people. I give it to them and I don't expect it back. And I never give more than I can afford to give and not get back. And if a friend needs more help than I can afford to give them, I say, "I'm sorry, but I can't afford to help." It works. To the Hagerstown caller who doesn't see a need for a dog park and further states people with dogs or any pets should not have them if they can't keep them and take care of them themselves. The park isn't a place to drop your pet and have someone take care of it. It's a place to socialize your pet so they don't become aggressive and bite people who oppose dog parks. Maybe people should stop having children, and then we won't need playgrounds either. Washington County. Whatever, you dog park people need to realize that a community isn't a group of people living together. It's a group of people living entirely separate from one another, minding their own business, whose interests never intersect or conflict. I'm not a gun owner, but I feel that I should defend the gun owner's rights. The problem is not the guns in America today, it's the family life, the home life. If you people, lots of you people who don't have time for your kids, who don't have time to do activities with them, don't have time to spend quality time with them, you can't find time to sit down and read the Bible and have family time at home, if you would just do that with your kids, things would change. Sharpsburg. It's about goddamn time someone stood up for the rights of gun owners around here. That's one right we don't hear about nearly enough. The right to bear arms. And I wholeheartedly endorse the concept of preventing violence by reading the Bible to kids. See, that's what this country needs more of. Gun owners who were taught from a young age to overlook and rationalize the violent actions of the angry, unstable God they worship. Well, along with all the other strange and bizarre cultural aspects of Hagerstown, maybe Hagerstown could have a contest to see who has the most ugly tattoo. Hagerstown. Yeah, might as well steer into the skid, I guess. Hey, maybe after the ugliest tattoo contest, we can organize contests for, I don't know, youngest teen mother, or most racist trailer park. I just read today's Herald Mail sports section and have been watching the news and would like to say that the truth is not defined by Billie Jean King. It's only defined by the living word, and his truth will set you free. How come it's so ironic that Jason Collins made the cover of Sports Illustrated and got such extensive coverage today in the Herald Mail for supposedly coming out? Tim Tebow, on the other hand, what a shame, and how sad is today's politically correct culture. Herald Mail, shame on you too. This is a very controversial story. It is about not good triumphing over evil. Washington County. The thing is, I don't even pay attention to the NFL. The NFL is, in fact, one of the things I make a concerted effort not to pay attention to. And I'm still a good 2 years deep into being sick and tired of hearing about Tim fucking Tebow. Even if you are such a touchy, bigoted asshole that you just can't stand the attention being paid to Jason Collins, take heart, because the buzz surrounding him is dying down already, and in a few more weeks you'll probably never have to hear his name. I wish I could say the same about Tim Tebow. Is there any wonder there's so much murder and killing in the world? Almost all the TV shows show it. I mean, there's one show that shows a cult that's going around and killing dozens of people in every show for no reason at all, just because they like to do it. They should not put that stuff on TV, because then the sick people with weak minds get that idea and they do it. If we can remove the bad stuff from TV, I think it would reduce some of the bad stuff that's going on in the world. Hagerstown. Right, let's shape our art and entertainment to suit the fragile sensibilities of our most troubled citizens. Let's scrub our televisions and cinemas and computers and video game consoles of everything that could give ideas to potentially violent, mentally ill people. Did anybody have a parent who worked at night? And so during the day you had to be careful to be really, really quiet so that they could get some sleep? Do you remember how much fun that was? Now imagine our entire culture doing that. All the time. And finally, from Blue Ridge Summit, all these anti-gun people need to wake up and realize if it was not for the American farmers and hunters and their firearms, we'd still be eating tea and crumpets and saying God save the Queen. America became free by use of guns and unorganized military, not by government power. It's always nice to hear from someone who doesn't hold a romanticized and cartoonishly simplified view of American history, isn't it? Just imagine, without the guns of those farmers and hunters, the United States might have wound up just like the other major states in the Commonwealth of Nations, achieving political independence from the British via legislation rather than years of brutal bloodshed. Like Australia. Or Canada. Oof. Sends a chill right through you, doesn't it? Thanks for watching.